Welcome, everyone, to Stepping Into Your Leadership. I'm your host, Courtney. Our goal here is to give you some actionable takeaways that will help you lead your teams. Thanks for joining us on this leadership journey. Let's get started. Hello, friends. Courtney here with our Leadership Summer Series. I'm very excited because today we're going to be just giving you a light bite, something nice for the summer, the equivalent of a leadership beach read. And we're going to go through some difficult scenarios that might happen in the workplace. And I want, if you're at home listening, think about how you would handle these. And I brought in two great people, managers, and leaders that I've worked with in the past to help us with this. And so I'm going to put them on the spot, which is really fun for me and probably excruciating for them.
Only a little terrifying.
Just a little. So I have Elaine Porcher, who's at the Leadership Program, our Senior Director of Business Development, and Jenny Greeman, who is the Director of Programming for Pathways to Leadership, a wonderful not-for-profit that we work with. So both of them have a few years, I won't give away their age, but a few years managing people and doing it pretty dang well. So I thought I would put them on the spot with a couple of scenarios that people have sent to me that happen pretty often. So we get these pretty often. These are things that generally happen that managers or first-time managers, or even those of us who've been doing it for a while, get stuck in with somebody. And sometimes we avoid having these conversations. Sometimes we put them off too long, but today we're going to confront them. So I'm going to read it, and then Elaine, I'm going to have you go first on this, okay? So you're going to go first with your response, and then afterwards, Jenny's going to go. And the great news is we can debate each other. Jenny, if you totally disagree with Elaine, you can say so. And if you agree or you want to add on or you want to say, well, I would try it this way, that's fine. And usually Tatiana can't keep her little mouth shut, so she'll jump in there occasionally too. Just kidding, Tati. I love you. Okay, here we go. Here's the first one. We're going to deal with Lisa today. All right. You guys know Lisa. Lisa is a customer service representative, has been late to work multiple times in the past month, and has taken several unplanned days off, leaving the team short-staffed during busy periods. She was late 3 times and took 2 unplanned days off, causing a significant backlog in the customer support tickets and resulting in negative feedback from clients. All right. What are you going to do about it? Elaine, you got an idea?
Yes, I do. The first thing I'm going to do is think about, is Lisa always late? Has she been late her entire career with the company? If not, and if this is a recent new discovery, I am going to schedule a meeting with her to see if she's okay, to see what's going on. And so my approach to Lisa would be like, hey, do you have a minute? I just want to chat with you about a few things. Lately, I've just noticed a change in your pattern in coming to work a little bit later than usual. And, there have also been some murmurings about customers that haven't been too happy. But I just wanted to check in with you first to see how are you doing, because this is generally not like you. And if Lisa is combative, and if she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, that's crazy, then we have to get to the nitty gritty. Then I'd say, okay, I just wanted to see if anything was going on, but clearly there's nothing happening. So we need to talk about how to move forward and what we can do in order to kind of turn this thing around. What do you think should happen, Lisa? And I would kind of put it in her court. And, if she says nothing, then I would say, hey, look, I think that we need to talk about, I think it's important that we all are able to support each other. Supporting each other means coming in on time. Of course, supporting the client is important too. So we need to be able to come in on time. Is that okay with you? Do you agree? How do you feel about this? And so I would start off.
Okay, awesome. Great. Thanks, Elaine. I like how you're checking in first. All right, Jenny, you got one?
Yeah, so far I agree. Definitely. If it's a long time habit, then the conversation is just, this is how it affects the team when you're not here. We need you to be here. Or is there an option to change her hours? I don't know, depending on what this business is, but it might be beneficial to say, okay, you can come in at an hour later than everyone else and you're staying an hour later. And that gives our clients an extra hour of customer support. Great. That could be a win-win. In terms of the unplanned days off, that's a little bit tricky because employees are entitled to their paid time off. It's not necessarily our business why, but I think, again, it's just to remind her of how the team is affected when someone is out. And so just to say, these are days that you are entitled to and you need to take care of yourself. Please send me an email or something in the morning that's like, this is what was on my plate, or these are, this was what I was going to do today so that somebody else on the team can support. Because I think in this scenario, you have to look larger. If one person being out one day, like really impacts customer service that detrimentally, then there might be a bigger problem about coverage in general.
That's a good point. I think that was interesting. Yeah, Elaine, you have a rebuttal? Rebuttal, yes. All right.
I do.
A gentlewoman from Jersey City. Go right ahead.
I respectfully disagree with one little portion there with changing her time to come in. And I guess that could be a trigger for me because this Lisa, I've had Lisa before, and I and had been advised to have Lisa come in a little later, but that does not work. I didn't believe it was going to work at the time. I was, being told, oh, let that person come in later. I let that person come in later, but I already knew that wasn't going to work because what happens is if Lisa's coming late, she's going to come late no matter what time it is that she's being told. Also, I just don't support the gifting of time for folks who are kind of like breaching the system here. I think if Lisa tells me there's a problem, like, so for instance, she has to get her child to school. Hey, get that child to work on time. But if she has to get her
child sub for you when you're sick.
I know, right? But if she has to take her child to school and she needs more time there, yes, I am going to give Lisa the extra time. But if it's Lisa's late because she's late, I'm not going to give her the extra time.
I actually agree with you, Elaine, 100%. Yeah. I think if it's just like, I just don't leave the house in time is a different story than something has changed in my life. I'm caring for a parent or I have a child now or something like that. Yeah.
I think it also has to do, I love Jenny's perspective on it because it's so different and could be a real good solution if Lisa was a good employee, right? If Lisa really normally had great results, it's hard to get a good employee up and trained and the cost of that, right? But if Lisa is terrible anyway, this is a great reason to get rid of Lisa. Like it's a simple, easy way to get rid of an employee that's terrible is something like lateness because it's so you can't argue it. It's no judge is going to be like, well, that's a matter of, of your opinion versus her opinion. No, it's pretty cut and dry. But if she is good, it is hard to get a good customer service person. And if she is good, the thing that would drive me crazy in this situation is the customer complaints because that is hard to come back from. But it provides an opportunity to really train Lisa to get her on your side of the table of like, look, you're in customer service. Presumably this is this is your big why. This is, you do what you do to keep our customers happy. And let's say normally you're good at it, assuming that's true. These are the complaints we've got because of it. How can you get on board with helping us fix this so that she realizes how important she is? But I agree. If she's not good, Elaine, she's not going to be good no matter what. Do you know what I mean?
She's out of here.
You're out of here.
Time to find someone else.
Exactly.
And I also wasn't sure what unplanned days. I agree with Jenny. Like, if you're sick, you're sick. If your kid's sick, your kid's sick. Especially nowadays, you can't fight that. I kind of was reading like, is that a no call, no show? Because that's a very different situation.
Oh yeah, that's very different.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That does put a lot of unplanned stress on folks, But anyway, those are some very good ideas. Yeah, Elaine.
So the thing about the customer complaints too, if Lisa is someone that we are looking to get rid of, because the more I hear what you're saying now, as you're saying the scenario again, it sounds like this person might want to get rid of Lisa. And I agree, lateness is a good way to do it. But the customer complaints, I think she needs to know the customer complaints as they're happening. I wouldn't hold on to the customer complaints and say, you got this many complaints over the past month. As soon as I got a complaint, I would bring it straight to her so that there's no surprise. Because if Lisa's a problem, she's going to say, oh, wait, you're just digging up stuff on me. But if I'm telling her, and I got to tell everybody this too, right? Everyone gets the complaints and gets the glows too. As it's happening, you got to get that in real time so that it kind of makes more sense.
I love that. That's a really good point. I also, one thing that you made me think of that I didn't pick up on in this is that it's already frequent. So like somehow I have not talked to Lisa yet. So somehow even on that first lateness, even if it's a little thing like, hey, all right, just check it in so that she knows you saw her. I think that sometimes is difficult, even though you don't have to come down hard on that first one. We've all been late, and Lord knows I've made some mistakes in this. Some people have reminded me of my clipboard day when I was so fed up with everybody being late that I sat there with a clipboard at the entrance and welcomed everybody and wrote their time in on my clipboard. And they're like, are you kidding me? Where?
Oh, God. I remember that. I loved it. I thought it was
I do
hilarious.
too. Oh my
I was one of the late
gosh. I'm
people that
really
day
happy you
too.
said that, Elaine.
Oh, I haven't lived it down. But I was just like, how can I, I have to use some humor here, but I'm just amazed at how we started off like a little bit late and then it starts to move and the clock moves and then everybody sees it and
Yes.
everyone goes, oh, then it's okay. And before you know it, your culture is now one of like everybody comes in whenever, which maybe in some places that's fine. A lot of places that's fine. But if you're a customer service agent and you're on phones, you're manning phones or you're dealing with stuff, that's putting a lot of pressure on those other teammates. And I loved what Jenny said about really focusing that why on how it's affecting the team. Because I think there are two ways, like it's affecting the team and it's affecting our customers, two, really important pieces of customer service. So yeah, somehow if it's already frequent, I have not done my job at even like I heard this term lately. I'm going to share it with you guys. A table touch. Someone said to me, like, if you can't, they teach this when you're
right.
in like working at a Denny's or, a restaurant. Like if you have a lot of tables that you're running and you can't get to everybody, what a lot of servers will do is just take go from one table to the next and leave these tables that have been waiting for a while. And they teach them to do what they call a table touch, which is you just come by, touch the table lightly and go, I'll be right with you. I'm sorry you're having to wait. I'll be right there. And then move on. But that table touch calms people down that you've seen me or whatever, but it's not a big deal. And then you can come back and give attention. So I've been thinking about that term so often because a lot of times I don't respond to things because I want to do it in a really proper way, but I'm like, nope, just table touch, and if I can just do it even with something like lateness, like, hey, you all right? And like, keep it moving so that it's not deep the first time, maybe not even deep the second time, but the third time it's deep. And I can say, I have checked in on you and you haven't told me that anything's going on. So it kind of helps. All right. That was great, ladies. Thank you. Okay. Now I'm going to throw something at you because it's our summer series. This is little stressful, but I'm going to try. It's fun. You guys can play along at home. The second part of our summer series is I give you a leadership question and we see how many we can get done in 2 minutes. So it's a speed round. So you're not giving monologue answers. Okay. Because we're going to see how many. And Erica and Tom, I think the record they've gotten through is 2 in 2 minutes because you both are going to answer. So I'm going to have.
All right, Elaine, we're going to beat that. We're going to get at least 3.
Let's try. All right. So
Absolutely.
It's 2 minutes goes
We're
fast.
competitive.
All right. So I'm going to start with Jenny and then I'm going to ask the question. Then Jenny's going to answer, then Elaine. And then the second one, Elaine, you'll go first and then Jenny will answer. Okay. You ready? What's one habit every leader should develop?
Take notes before your meetings.
Good. Elaine?
Listening to what your, I'm sorry, no, I want to take that away. Not listening, observing your the people you manage.
Love it. All right, Elaine, how do you ensure continuous personal growth as leader?
You have to keep learning. You have to go out and get the learning. You have to look for opportunities to learn more new and different things that apply to your job and the real world.
Jenny?
Yeah, and I think try things that seem scary. So go out of your comfort zone at work or in your own life just to build that muscle.
Great. Okay, guys, hope you're ready with this. What's your favorite leadership quote, Elaine? Oh, no, I'll start with Jenny. Jenny, what's your favorite leadership quote?
Okay. I'm going to go very old school. I'm going all the way back to the old wives who were geniuses. A stitch in time saves 9. Okay. And like we sort of touched on this when we discussed Lisa. But I continue to remind myself of that is like, as soon as you see something, a customer maybe not happy or a direct report struggling with something, like you have to just jump in, fix it as soon as possible. Otherwise it just blows up and can sometimes be irreparable.
Great. Elaine, what's your favorite leadership quote?
Peter Drucker, culture eats strategy for breakfast. I love this because it's, I like to follow rules, but sometimes I like to be a maverick, right? And I feel like the culture of companies, the culture of the way things are is always going to overshadow policy. So just like jaywalking in New York, right? People do it but you can get a ticket for that. But it's important to know this because if you can build a culture then, you can build a culture to match your strategy. But you must know that the culture is always going to win over the policy, over the strategy.
So get jaywalking. Okay.
Get jaywalking. I'd love to yes and that. I think that the COVID, the pandemic really showed that to be true, because organizations that had a strong culture when everyone was sort of sent home and isolated, that pre-existing culture was sustaining. I know it was for me. And if I had worked at a place where that didn't exist, I'd be like, whatever. I guess I need a paycheck, but why am I doing this instead of something else? Well,
thank you guys. I want you to say it's right now it's 3 minutes and 17 seconds. However, Elaine did finish the first part. I didn't want to cut you off because we had to get around to the jaywalking, but you did get 3 questions in and 3 answers. So right now you guys are ahead and winning. I just let your last little bits go on. So if you were keeping track at home, I want to keep us honest, but they did get 3 questions answered. I just didn't cut Elaine off because I wanted to hear her explanation. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us for the Leadership Summer Series. I hope you're getting something at home and how to handle your Lisas out there. We'll be back next week with another one. Thanks everybody for listening. I'd like to give a special shout out to our podcast producer, Richard Francisco. Check out our notes for any details. And if you get anything out of this, please follow us. And if you enjoy it, please take a moment to rate us or write a comment. It will mean the world to us. We'd love to hear from you. And if you just can't get enough, follow me on TikTok and check out tlpnyc.com/podcast for more information.